How are investigations done? This is a very critical question that needs a bit of moment to think critically. So, before we dive into how investigations are done, first we need to know the steps taken during an investigation. So, investigations are systematic processes where evidence is collected, analyzed, and used to uncover the truth behind a crime or suspicious activity. They involve steps like receiving a tip, planning, interviewing witnesses, analyzing data, and identifying those responsible. So the question is that the same process used in your country? First things first. So we are going to use an example of the recent case in Kenya. We have to say that the case is still under active investigations with the Kenyan investigative authorities, and we ain't gonna dwell more on it. So recently, a member of Kenyan parliament was gunned down by an unknown assassin along a busy road. Normally, it is expected that such cases of high-profile individuals should be treated with high-end care. In the case of a gunned-down MP in Kenya, the investigation should begin with immediate scene security and evidence preservation, including collecting ballistic evidence, CCTV footage, and witness statements. Authorities should then follow with forensic analysis, trace the weapon and vehicle used, review the MP's recent activities and threats, interrogate suspects, and involve intelligence units to assess political or organized crime links, ensuring transparency, urgency, and protection from interference. But how can investigations be tampered with? Investigations can be interfered with in many subtle and blatant ways, especially when powerful individuals are involved. Evidence may be tampered with, destroyed, or hidden to mislead investigators, while key witnesses might be threatened, bribed, or silenced. In some cases, political pressure is applied to delay or shut down the investigation, or honest officers are suddenly transferred or removed from the case. Corruption can also play a major role, with investigators or prosecutors accepting bribes to alter findings or ignore crucial leads. Leaks of sensitive information to suspects or the media can disrupt the process, and false narratives may be spread to confuse the public. Sometimes, the entire case is deliberately delayed until it fades from attention, denying justice through silence and time. In this video, Winnie Odinga, who is the daughter to the former Prime Minister Raila Odinga, is seen questioning the investigative officers on how they are handling the investigation following the gunning down of a Kenyan MP.
Who the hell is in charge here? How can these people be going in the crime scene? Sure.
No, they've been told to go in. How can they go inside the crime scene?
Why are they in the vehicle?
Why are they in the vehicle?
Why?
Yeah, but why should they be there in the vehicle?
I don't have
No, we don't, but why should they be in the vehicle?
I don't care about your cutout. I'm asking, why are these two passengers in this vehicle? Who's in charge of it? What sort of crime scene is this?
You see,
Yeah.
Cameraman is contaminating. So the suspects, the people who are there, they are traveling.
Why should they drive in the crime scene?
It doesn't matter. So what if they were part of it in the crime scene?
we would also be thinking.
Think of that first and do action. Yeah, it is not right.
Don't contaminate the scene.
Don't have
location.
One critical question that someone may ask themselves is, if there are doubts in the first stages of an investigation, could there be an accurate result to the final reports from the investigation in the first place? It is important to ask these questions for the sake of accountability and just to clear the air. The murder of Dr. Robert Ouko, Kenya's Foreign Affairs Minister in 1990, remains one of the country's most enduring political mysteries. Multiple investigations by Kenyan authorities, Scotland Yard, and parliamentary committees have produced significant findings but no conclusive resolution. Despite extensive investigations, Dr. Ouko's murder remains unsolved. The case highlights issues of political interference, witness intimidation, and systemic impunity that have hindered justice in Kenya. Another issue that should be taken into consideration is the fact that before meeting their painful deaths, most of the victims have come out in public to claim that their lives are in danger. But in most cases, nothing at all was done to contain the situation.
That I'm happy that I'm alive today by the grace of God. Because if you recall, some time back, last week actually, the Citizen Weekly carried a story which made very malicious allegations against me, to the effect that I'm involved in a love affair with someone's wife, and that there is a bitter husband somewhere who had given me a week's notice to withdraw from that affair or he spills the beans. I want to say that this is a fabrication of the people who are opposed to my leadership in Kotu and who want to eliminate me and attribute my elimination to the so-called bitter husband, or rather to adultery. I want to say that I have been urging senior Kotu officials who hold key positions to resign honorably from Kotu, or I be compelled to seek legal means to get them out of the labor movement on grounds of impropriety. Today I want to confirm to all Kenyan workers that I have filed a petition in which I am seeking the removal of 6 key officials, namely the Secretary General of Kotu, the Chairman General of Kotu, the Treasurer General of Kotu, the first signing trustee, and 2 other trustees, as a people who are held to be in charge and control the property, funds, and monies of Kotu. And this petition has been looked at by the court, and the judge has directed that we appear before him this afternoon at 2:30. So at this point in time, I need not preempt anything before we appear before the judge and present our application and hear what the court is going to tell us.
The murder of former Kabete MP George Muchai in February 2015 remains one of Kenya's most controversial and unresolved political assassinations. Muchai, a vocal critic of corruption within the Central Organization of Trade Unions, COTU, was gunned down in Nairobi alongside his 2 bodyguards and driver. The nature of the attack, executed in a public space with military-style precision, led many to suspect a politically motivated hit rather than a mere robbery. The nature of the attack, an execution-style shooting in a public space, raised doubts and led many to believe it was a politically motivated assassination. Muchai had previously survived an assassination attempt in 2011 and had publicly expressed concerns about threats to his life. Investigations uncovered over 250 calls exchanged between the accused suspects around the time of the murder, pointing to a possible coordinated plan. A G3 rifle allegedly used in the killing was recovered from one suspect's home, but questions arose about how the weapon was handled and whether forensic evidence was reliable. The suspects claimed they were wrongly arrested, had no prior connection to each other, and were being used to cover up a bigger plot. Trial delays, weak evidence, and procedural concerns further deepened public doubt about whether justice would truly be served. Years later, the case remains unresolved, fueling suspicions of political interference and exposing the ongoing weaknesses within Kenya's justice system when dealing with high-profile murders. So based on that information, thinking critically about this, we must ask, if investigations into high-profile murders, like that of an MP, are so vulnerable to interference, who truly benefits from the silence or confusion that follows? Is the system designed to protect the truth, or to protect certain individuals? When evidence disappears, witnesses go quiet, and cases drag on for years, It suggests the presence of forces working against justice. We must also question why the public often stops demanding answers. Has impunity become so normalized that even political assassinations no longer spark sustained outrage? Lastly, who is brave enough within the system to pursue the truth? And are they protected or punished for it? Let's think critically. Follow this channel for videos of the critical thinkers.